Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and I live in this house with my husband Ben and our 10 children in Melbourne, Australia. And I wanted to do a video today where I kind of showed you a detailed tour of the room in in the room where we keep a lot of our stock of food. And I'll show you the kinds of things that we have in here and why we have them and the way it's all laid out. And let's just get to the tour. As soon as you enter this room, on your left-hand side is my husband's area. This is where he can do sim racing and relax and do whatever he wants. This is the only part of the room that my husband wants to have. So he's tucked into this little alcove. On the right hand side as you enter, this is nearly the entirety of all of my sewing stuff. This whole room, which I will show you, used to basically be my area to sew and make quilts. On the top I have some of my threads and my Juki sewing machine. In the cupboard I have fabrics and quilts in progress and other sewing related things. Looking straight ahead in this room is my desk, which we purchased off of Marketplace. It is height adjustable. And underneath I have a basket that's got wheels on the bottom that I found on the side of the road that keeps my batting and some saved wrapping paper. That is back towards the doorway, and then coming further into the room I have a bag with a camera in it hanging on the wall. I have my pressing mat behind this drawer set, a bin, and like one of these glass cutting boards which I thrifted. And then we have this set of drawers that a friend gifted us. He no longer wanted them. In the top drawer, I keep things like masking tape for quilting or labeling jars and various sewing things and just stuff. And more stuff. That's the second drawer. In this drawer I keep all of my fat quarters that I have. And the last drawer really doesn't have much. It just has a container with some badges in it, some quilting clips, some wool, and a couple of notebooks. This is the rest of the room. I have a few thrifted and gifted and handmade things on the wall. What homeschooling family wouldn't be complete if they didn't have a massive printer? I've got some felt and some wool or yarn, and this is basically the entirety of my decor collection. This room is a small room under our house, so the ceiling is actually quite low, and obviously it has no bathroom or toilet or shower, so it's not really fit for like a bedroom or anything, but it's pretty good for storage. So let's rapid fire go through the shelves to show you what we get, but I will say that I don't really have anything here that we don't eat. I don't have any like strange, weird, or wonderful ingredients that just sit forever. I try to only have the things that we will consume. Coffee and tea are up here. I have gelatin. I have extra herbs and spices. I have containers up in our very tiny kitchen, but this is just kind of like overflow of the things that I frequently use. The single snack pastas at the back are for when my sons go on camps. And then I have French onion soup mix, taco seasoning, and some vegetable stock. I have chips for when we have birthdays. I have Vegemite and chicken stock, which I shared in one of my other videos from Costco. I bought labels, these like plastic clip-on labels from Amazon, because I am not the only person that packs stuff away down here, and it makes it far easier for everybody to know where everything goes. So we have honey and syrup. I also have more syrups here. I wanted to kind of have a collection of maple syrups because I don't go to Costco all the time, so that just helps us to not run out. Cocoa powder. I have barbecue sauce and tomato sauce, and then I have extra garlic and various sauces and lemon juice and stuff that we eat and use. Underneath the coffee shelf, we have these electrolyte tablets, some drinking chocolate. These are kind of like baking extra type stuff. So like in here I have toothpicks, things like vanilla extract. I have pie weights and just various baking type things. I repurpose a lot of jars and I make my own labels with masking tape, because if you just write it on a label, you can peel it off and there's no sticky residue. And I have vodka back there for if I ever manage to make vanilla essence with vanilla beans. Again, I have the vodka ready to go for that. Some stuff for making juice, tortillas, the maple syrup as I mentioned, lasagna sheets and pasta. Going down again, we have jelly and leftover Christmas lollies, and we have some corn chips, Weet-Bix noodles, brown sugar. What are they called? Rice cakes? Corn thins? You know what I'm talking about. We have 2 different types of coconut. I should label that, unless the label's on the other side. No, no label. What is that? Oh, and I guess I have this sitting on top as well. Rice noodles, oats, raw sugar, white sugar. And the final shelf here is like, these are all like Ziploc bags and foil and baking paper and you know, that kind of stuff. Dog food, a huge massive container of rice, saved jars. In the corner I have ice cream buckets and a couple of thrifted buckets for when we go foraging, and I have some garlic that I grew. So that's me showing you all the things on the first shelf. Let's move over here. I cheated and I told you about this already, but going down, we have dried apricots, sultanas, dates, walnuts, dried fruit. The raisins are for when I make homemade fruit chutney. I have vinegar, various types of vinegar. I have apple cider vinegar that I made myself. I have ghee, olive oil spray, and this is light olive oil, so I never use vegetable oil, never ever. So if I'm baking, I can use that light olive oil. Down the bottom, I have 2 homegrown pumpkins that my beautiful daughter grew herself from seed, and potatoes. So up the top here, I'll give you a closer look at everything. Basically, most of these items are things that I have foraged and processed in some way or have grown myself, which I'm quite proud of. So the hope is to build up enough of a stash that I can end up making my own teas and medicinals and all sorts of things. But I would definitely consider myself to sort of still be at beginner level, but I do want to learn more. Honestly, I should tell you my top tip for having this room and having 12 people in the house is to have it streamlined, very simplified, not have too much excess. I think this room is one of those rooms that might change and be different over the years. I don't know if we will live in this house forever, but at the moment having this system is so good because our kitchen is so small We do not have the storage at all to keep extra things. And honestly, the lockdowns taught me I always was very minimal with the amount of food that we had. So by shopping day, we would literally be like empty shelves, empty fridge, empty cupboards. When the lockdowns happened and we couldn't really get out and there was supply chain issues, we ran out of food. And I thought, I'm never going to be put in that position again. I've got to start looking after myself and my family. So that's what I've done. Along this shelf, except for a few items like strawberry jam, is all stuff that I have preserved, which I'm quite proud of. So I'll stop showing you my face and I'll show you these next shelves. Labeling is very important, trust me, because when you don't label something and you're really confident that you'll remember, chances are you won't. So these are all just different things. Zucchini, I still have even more zucchinis to process. This container is many, many, many dehydrated and blitzed up zucchinis. So let's just say we had a bumper crop of zucchinis this year, and we don't really love zucchinis, which is very ironic, but we will use them in lasagna. I have slivered almonds that we buy from Costco. I have bicarb soda, which I bought in bulk, and gluten-free flour there. I have tissues, a couple of gifted or store-bought items, pears, apples, loquat jam, strawberry syrup, fruit chutney, strawberry jam, and the delicious and amazing blackberry jam. I found a secret blackberry bush. I foraged many mornings, very early in the morning, and I've made a lot of blackberry jam. My family has already eaten a lot of blackberry jam. So we'll see how long this lasts, but we'll enjoy it in the meantime. On this shelf, I've got various tomato type things, zucchini relish that I made many of because of the previously mentioned phenomenal zucchini garden. I have pickled radishes, some store-bought olives. We've got different spreads and stuff like that, some pickles. I have tallow, which I rendered myself, yeast, chutney, croutons, peanut butter, and a multi-cooker thing that someone gifted us, and I've honestly been too scared to use. So if you have one of these and you use it, please comment below and give me your advice on actually how to use the thing, because I'm a little bit scared and intimidated. Down the bottom, I have two massive containers of pink ground salt and pink rock salt that I bought in bulk. I have paper towels, baked beans, pineapple, apricot halves, diced tomatoes, beetroot. There is a supply shortage on beetroot at the moment. I need to buy about 12 more cans of that, but I have not been finding it anywhere. Kidney beans, condensed milk, more apricots. So these should be over here, but that's okay. And passata. Next to this middle shelf, I have this white unit. My husband was driving one day and saw this tossed out on the side of the road. He doesn't know where it's from. Maybe Bunnings or IKEA. But in here, I keep my canning equipment. The container fits in so perfectly that I can't take the lid off, so hang on a second. So different things that I use when I am canning, just being all in this one container, makes it a lot easier to know where my stuff is, and I'm not then searching everywhere for it and feeling like my stuff has been stolen. I have passata jars, and I also bought from Amazon these thingies, which a friend recommended, so I could pop them in the jars to keep everything nice and dry, just for reassurance. I have a Vegemite jar with elastic bands in it. I have more jars and even more jars and some canning things. So I have a funnel and a veggie sack, and this is for when I make like my apple cider vinegar and stuff like that. Down here I have actual Kilner jars, which were gifted to me from a very, very wonderful subscriber. I am so grateful that she gave them to me, and still overwhelmed and kind of like a bit emotional every time I use them, thinking of how kind she was to gift those to me. This, I guess, would be considered my junk drawer because it has, I thrifted all this stuff. So I use these for like birthdays, or if you have a popcorn night or whatever. I have a whole stack of envelopes that my dad gave me. I have gloves for if we need them. And then I do have quite a few fabric bags that I've either made or I've thrifted that are very handy for giving gifts and stuff like that without trash. Some different packaging supplies and crafty type stuff. But having it in this one unit makes it far more appealing than having it just wherever. These scissors live here for cutting open packages and being a bit more organized. And then these are like the back shelves. So if I have things on the other side here, I try to have the labels out so that we know what we've got. It makes shopping list making far easier because then you know what's running low. I have a big roast or like baking tray thing that was gifted to us that doesn't fit in my kitchen, so it lives down here. And I have extra fridge filters there. I have some shampoos and conditioners and a lot of deodorant and some shave gel. But all those deodorants, I waited for months and months for them to be half price, and then I went and bought a ton. You got a ton of people and you don't want to stink, you go through a lot of deodorant. This shelf in the darkness of the room is where I keep my mat for when I'm canning, my dehydrator, and a Lazy Susan thing that I bought from Kmart with a bunch of shampoos and conditioners and one lotion. I have an empty shelf and 1 pack of baby wipes left. I have about 9 packs of baby wipes upstairs. When I went to Costco, they had no baby wipes, so we're okay for now, but it was a shame because I would have liked to have had a row of baby wipes there. Toilet paper. I have currently got 5 24 packs down here. I have tubs with whole wheat flour in them, some bags of whole wheat flour, another tub of whole wheat flour, and bunny food. So that is the final shelf. One other thing that I thought I would mention is my various containers might be found on the side of the road, the lid of a container, gifted from my Buy Nothing group, found on the side of the road, thrifted from an op shop, bought new from Kmart. These I actually really like. They're nice. They're about 10 bucks each. I have 2 of them. The jars as well, thrifted or gifted or repurposed. So I haven't spent millions of dollars putting this room together. I did buy a roll of shelf liner from Amazon to protect my shelves. It's hard to actually find this 12-inch depth. They're normally 18-inch, and I don't want to have a ton of waste. So I have also bought from just like a $2 shop this type of liner, and a family member no longer wanted this like huge piece of like felt type stuff, so I cut that up and I managed to get 4 shelves worth of shelf liner from that one piece of fabric. And just to mix things up even more, I have other shelf liner which I bought from just one of those like cheap shops as well. We made it! We got to the end of me showing you this room and the way it looks now. It's very different to the way it originally looked. When we first bought this house, it was presented to us as like a teenager room. We had very young children at that stage, and the idea of having a room that had no bathroom or toilet or sink or anything like that and had entry to the outside of the property wasn't really our idea. We weren't going to put like a little 6-year-old kid down here. Now, we now have a nearly 18-year-old son, And I have asked him, do you want this room? And he doesn't seem very interested in having this room. He shares a room with two of his brothers. My husband built a triple bunk for them. And I think he just sees the logic in having this room. We can fit so much extra stuff. It saves us money. It saves us time. It saves my sanity. And he's fine with his bed because he says, I only sleep in there, so what does it matter? I think he's happy and he's okay. I miss sewing. I still haven't seemed to have wrapped my head around how I'm going to really get back into sewing. My husband said, if you haven't got a space where your things are like set up and ready to go, like his sim, for example, that you're less inclined to kind of get into it. And my sewing machine is very heavy. Juki sewing machines are like solid metal. They're super heavy. So I don't know, maybe one week I'll just say to the kids, I'm totally taking over the dining room table and we can just eat at the coffee table or something like that. Or I can totally pack away all my computer stuff and use this. But I do have plans to get back into sewing. And I don't know if anybody would be interested in seeing the different things that I make and create or how I fit things like that into my life. I used to do it every single day. My husband said it's like when you are creative, when you have a hobby like sewing, it's like free therapy. And I think he's right. I'm mostly okay. Like, hey, I survived the lockdowns. I survived. So I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. But I need to think more about how I'm actually going to manage to do that. Yeah. If you enjoyed seeing this peek into a room of my house, feel free to like the video or comment below if you have questions about the types of things we have, or if there were things that you saw that you were like, what even is that? Feel free to comment below. I truly mean this. I really want to make sure that the videos that I share are interesting to people. Is this interesting or not? And yeah, like, that's why I'm talking to you guys, because it's like you're my friends. So I'm asking you in a friendly way. So thank you for watching my video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that wherever you are, you're happy, living your best life. If you have a YouTube channel and you do this kind of stuff as well, feel free to let me know below so I can come and check out your channel. Yeah. This is just simple, guys. Like, we just saved up our cash and we bought the shelves from Bunnings, and then we've slowly, if things are like half price, I'll buy extra. This has been months and months of working to get to the point where we have a lot of this stuff. It really helps. Like, I'm now a firm believer that it really helps. The main thing that we run out of is fresh fruits and vegetables and dairy products and stuff like that. The refrigerator required stuff. So, you know, we still spend a lot of money on food. That is true. We cook 99.9% of our meals at home, and we try to eat relatively healthily. So now you've seen it. Now you see what I have in what I now just call the shop rather than the hobby room. And I will be back soon for another video. If you have video suggestions or questions or anything you'd like to know or see, feel free to ask me in the comments below. And I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.